Hey guys, it's ToProForuGames, and lately I've been playing a bunch of zombies with randoms for some odd reason, and I've noticed there are a bunch of mistakes that these randoms like to make. So today we'll be going over 7 mistakes that bad players make here in BO4 Zombies. On our last video, we started the sound quiz, and a lot of you wanted to guess what that sound was, and surprisingly, there was actually quite a few of you who got the sound wrong. A lot of you, of course, got it right, but the correct sound was buying a perk from Voyage or IX. For all of you who got that wrong, you now have a chance to redeem yourself on today's video. I'm gonna go ahead and play a really quick sound. All you have to do is comment right now, what do you guys think that sound is? That one's either really hard or really easy. I'm really curious to see how many of you get it right in the comments below. Besides that, let's go ahead and jump into our number 7 spot. Starting off our list here in the number 7 spot, running into other people's training spots. Maybe you're playing with some friends or you're playing with some randoms and you've been in one spot for the majority of the game, and all of a sudden somebody comes out of nowhere and decides to join you in your training spot. Now, maybe you have a perk by you or a wall gun that they want to buy, that's all good, but if you're training there and they kind of join you in that training spot, why? Don't do that, please stop. This is one thing that really grinds my gears when I play with other people because, first of all, here in BO4 Zombies, there aren't a lot of really good training spots. Like on each map, there's like one really good spot and every other spot is kind of mediocre. So when you have 2 people in a mediocre spot, things can go downhill really quickly. You know, the zombie spawns increase, or that person runs in and then downs in your area, and then it just creates this massive cluster and you end up downing as well. It's just something that's so annoying. So if you're playing zombies with more people and you see someone's in their own spot, please leave them alone. Coming in at the number 6 spot, summoning the contenders on IX a little bit too early. I get why killing contenders is something you want to do as soon as possible, is because you do get that 500 point bonus when you kill them, so that's always nice early in the game, but we don't really need PAP open on like round 8 or even round 10 because we don't need to PAP our guns that early. So the best thing to do is to spend some time in the starting room, get some points, or get that PAP Strife pistol so we can go ahead and just clear out all these guys super easy. So attacking these guys on like round 2 with your welling probably isn't a good move. Coming in at the number 5 spot, using your special weapon too early in the game, and this one is just really painful to see when someone whips out their hammer on like round 6. The thing about the special weapons in BO4 Zombies is the more you use them, the longer it takes to recharge, and there are so many times where you actually can really use them, but you used it so much in those early rounds that the recharge takes so long. So for example, let's say we're playing IX with 4 players. Once you get past round 20, there are a ton of times where having that weapon available all the time is super important, right? You have multiple Blightfather spawning in or a ton of gladiators, but if you've used it so many times in those early rounds, all of a sudden between 20 and 30, the recharge will get longer and longer and longer to the point where it just takes like so long to have this thing charge up and be available to use. If you're playing solo or co-op, just don't use it before round 20. There's really no need to. And then once you get past round 20, there'll be a ton more zombies to kill. You'll charge this thing or level this thing up a lot faster, and it'll be available to you a lot more often than it normally would. Coming in at the number 4 spot, training in the middle on IX when somebody else is already there. So obviously on IX, the most popular training spot is that spawn, right? It's just a big circle, so obviously it is super easy to train there, but when you start having, you know, 2 people or 3 people training in that one spot, it is not a good idea. This goes back to what I talked about in the 7th spot. If you see somebody else in that spot, let them be there, because if you have your own area, you'll get your own amount of zombies, so it's not a big deal. But when you have all these players mixing in this one spot and training in their own directions, it just leads to this cluster, and no matter how many times these players down, they still remain in that middle area and they won't leave. Coming in at the number 3 spot, buying wall guns on round 1. In BO4 Zombies, being able to select your starting gun is a massive thing, and there are a ton of very good starting weapons that should last you easily for the first 5 rounds or so you can go ahead and buy some wall guns. But buying the Essex on round 1 is something that I will never understand. Coming in at the number 2 spot on today's list, the 75 plasma hit. When it comes to spending plasma here in BO4 Zombies, the one you should stay far away from is the 75 package. When you compare the 75 package to the 45 package, the only difference is with 75, you get a guaranteed talisman, so you're spending an extra 30 plasma for 1 talisman. It is not worth it. So then between 30 and 45, which one is better? So with 30, you'll definitely still get some talismans, but you'll get a ton more common elixirs. My favorite is the 45 one because with that one, you still have a chance of getting some talismans. On top of that, you'll get a ton more rare elixirs, and personally, I feel like the rare elixirs has probably the best elixirs in the game. The biggest mistake I see players making on IX is spawning in and not doing their challenges. Now, the challenges not only benefit you, but they benefit the team as well. Now, I'm not saying you have to do every single challenge, just doing the first, 3 or 4 or 5 challenges where you get a papped gun, you get points, you get a max ammo for the team. There's a lot of benefits for doing these, and if the entire team is doing them, it just makes the game a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier to set up. So if you're not doing these every time you play IX, please do them. It is so incredibly helpful. There we have it, guys. That was 7 mistakes that bad players make here in BO4, and I try to keep this list to only new things in BO4 Zombies, so, new features and new maps, not going over old things like going to the box too early, because that's something I've mentioned a ton in previous videos. Besides that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.